So, Buddhism and shamanism, both of which, by the way, are more accurately understood in terms of constellations of belief and practice that differ from country to country and culture to culture rather than any kind of monolithic ism. And in the Himalayan cultures of both, the world of dream is intimately connected with the way mind and related ideas such as soul are conceptualized. Let me begin with some dream images that quite mystified me when I came across them. What is this image about? Or this one, of a human figure bound and shackled. I can't really say that they invoke thoughts of Buddhist philosophy grounded in logical reasoning and empirical observation. However, these are illustrations that accompany a record of the dreams and visions of the Fifth Dalai Lama, who lived in the 17th century. Like the current Dalai Lama, the great Fifth would have been regarded by his devotees as a Buddha himself. He would have been trained from a young age in the most sophisticated Buddhist philosophy regarding the essenceless nature of self, the essenceless nature of all existence, the true nature of mind. Yet here we have a record of him wandering shaman-like through strange dream landscapes. Buddhist deities appear to him, and esoteric rituals for the defense, the welfare, and the protection of Tibet are part of his dream world. Okay, so put that on the side for a minute. Dream records are not unusual in Buddhist texts. Perhaps the most famous, depicted in this 2nd century stone relief, is the conception dream of Maya, the Buddha's mother, who dreamt that a pure white elephant entered her womb. Subsequently, the dream was interpreted to mean that she would give birth to a son who would be as great among men as the elephant is among animals. Now, in dreams, we find a meeting place where the physical, the psychological, and the cultural intersect. And leaving aside the physiology and the psychology of dream, which are entire fields unto themselves, I want to focus on the cultural aspect, on how the interpretation of dreams and dreaming supports different views of the relationship between the interior space that we might call mind and the exterior objects of the waking world. Whether we call the intangible, invisible aspect of a person mind or soul, consciousness, spirit, or anything else, it appears to be universally accepted that to be a living person involves that which is body and that which is not body. And although there are likely just as many variations related to how we conceptualize the body, perhaps the theme of another seminar, it is the not body issue that concerns us today. Now, the Fifth Dalai Lama was quite aware that his attention to dreams and visions did not cohere well with his Buddhist training. And he writes, "As if the illusions of samsara were not enough, this stupid mind of mine is further attracted to ultra-illusory visions. I've had various visions which should never have occurred and which ought to be forgotten, but I, being small-minded, talkative, and unable to keep my fingers at rest, noted them down." This is a familiar trope in Tibetan literature. Dreams are unreal and deceptive, not to be trusted, but. In the Tibetan context, it is an ambiguity that contributed to both tension and resolution between Buddhism and the indigenous shamanic religious systems that it encountered. How so? Well, in the cultures of Mongolia, Siberia, and the Tibetan Plateau, shamanic power is inextricably linked with the shaman's capacity for working with liminal states of sleep, dream, trance, visions. The shaman is one who is chosen by the spirits, authenticated by the spirits. Often the shaman's initiation occurs in a dream or particular types of dreams or visions are recognized as those which signify that the person is to be trained as a shaman. Now, in Vajrayāna Buddhist practice, Vajrayāna being the name of the type of Buddhism practiced in Tibet, there are strong similarities. Visionary and dream experiences may be an indication or a manifestation of spiritual attainment, and dreams may also constitute a method by which sacred knowledge is gained and transmitted, just as in shamanic systems. By the 8th century, Buddhism had been adopted by the Tibetan kings, supplanting the indigenous shamanic rituals, but not without resistance. So here we have rival religious systems competing for state and popular support, both using dream or vision as a way of authenticating spiritual power and status. So in this context, then, the question is, how is the tantric lama different from the shaman? When they are, this is the shaman, this is the tantric lama. When they are authenticated in similar ways, both said to be capable of magical displays, and often doing the same job for the community. So one answer to that, and there are others, lies in their differing views of how the dreaming mind relates to the reality of the external world. Among the shamanic cultures of this region, reality is of one piece. The world exists in both visible and invisible dimensions. The real world of visible humans, animals, and their environments coexists with a corresponding, no less real, invisible world of spirits and their spirit environments. And similarly, the reality of a person consists of visible body and corresponding invisible soul or souls. So in these systems, dreams, visions, or trance states are a kind of methodology through which the invisible soul aspect of the shaman can access and function within the corresponding invisible world of the spirits for the purposes of negotiating and communicating with the spirits on behalf of human individuals and communities. All dreams, not only those of a shaman, would be understood to be a liminal space in which the invisible conscious aspect of a person, their soul, wanders about the invisible dimension of the world, encountering the beings that live there. Actions and events taking place in dream states would be considered of the same order of reality as those taking place in waking states, and are often regarded as more fundamental, more significant than the events of waking life. I put this slide up for fun because this is a spirit bear found in Canada's West Coast forests, and you don't have to be dreaming to encounter one of these guys. From the Buddhist Vajrayāna perspective, however, reality as we know it is suspect. So let me expand on that. Here it is understood that mind, although invisible and immaterial, can be experienced in two ways: as it appears to be, and as it actually truly is. And that is to say, well, as it appears to be, ordinary mind. As it truly is, awakened mind, or Buddha mind. The experience of ordinary mind encompasses the internal field of thoughts, ideas, emotions, and includes the external world related to mental activity. So all of this, internal mind, external world, comes about and is experienced in the way it is due to a misapprehension of what is truly the case. And because of that misapprehension, we experience the illusory bifurcation of mind into subject and object, self and other, in the same way that a dreaming person experiences the people and the objects of the dream as external to themselves. So that is the understanding of ordinary mind. The other is the experience of Buddha mind or awakened mind. And I have to put that word in scare quotes, because where there is no bifurcation into subject, object, self, and other, therefore no conceptualization of external world or internal mind, it's difficult to speak about experience, which kind of implies duality, but I just haven't come up with a better word. So if you have one, let me know. According to a level of Buddhist Tantra called Ati Yoga, the most fundamental state of material phenomena is coterminous with the most fundamental state of mind or consciousness. So we're speaking here of an irreducible state in which mind is understood in terms of responsiveness and matter in terms of dynamic energy. In this context, the fundamental state of mind matter is considered to be timeless, indeterminate, undifferentiated, substanceless, without any defining characteristics, and having the capacity to generate itself in any way whatsoever. And that undifferentiated, ineffable state of being and knowing is considered the basis for the two ways of experiencing mind as ordinary mind or awakened mind. Awakened mind recognizes that everything perceived, whether physical entities or mental activities, everything is a function of and inseparable from its own qualities and energy. And further recognizes that those appearances are ultimately illusory in that they cannot exist independently and have come about as a natural outcome of the dynamic energy of that basic state of mind matter. On the other hand, ordinary mind mistakenly apprehends external appearances as truly external to itself, having their own truly independent existence, apart from the mind that knows there is something appearing. In this context, dreams belong to the field of ordinary mind. And if the waking world is illusion, then dreams are ultra-illusions. Quite the opposite to the shamanic view, in which visible and invisible aspects of the world and person are simply corresponding elements of one reality. For practical purposes, then, dreams and visions function in similar ways for both Lama and shaman, as signs of spiritual achievement and as a method of communication with spirit beings or transcendent deities. However, their approach to and their understanding of the dreaming process differs based on their differing conceptualizations of that which is not body and how it relates to the waking world. In Tibetan culture, Buddhist and shamanic strands merge to form a unique religious synthesis. The tantric Buddhism that came from India to Tibet, with its ritual yogic practices of visualizing and invoking deities, resonated with indigenous shamanic methods of ritual communication with spirits. As well, the Buddhist philosophic emphasis on the interdependency and interconnectedness of all phenomena, that resonated with the shamanic view of the world as an interconnected web of beings. So based on this shared understanding, the practical shamanic arts of actively working in and with dream states continue to flourish among the Tibetans. And we find the shamanic emphasis on the reality of dreams and visions maintained in the importance given to certain dreams and practices in Tibetan Buddhism, but with the added twist of the Buddhist emphasis on the ultimate unreality of so-called reality. According to this view, just as one cannot see one's own face except as a reflection, which of course is not the real face, In the same way, illusory appearances reveal the true nature of the knowing mind to itself. Only, of course, if you understand the nature of reflections and don't mistake the reflection in the mirror for somebody else. I will end with the words of the 10th century yoginī Niguma. When we meditate upon the dreamlike nature of all the dreamlike phenomena, we attain dreamlike Buddhahood. Thank you.
Thank you, Angan. And dreams have a central role, a central position, but where are they produced? Internally by yourself, or do they come from elsewhere?
Well, they come from elsewhere. Well, from a shamanic perspective, the dream is simply the sort of the fact that the person has entered into the invisible realm of the world. So they have now kind of crossed over from this visible dimension to another dimension. From a Buddhist perspective, there is a lot of dream theory, and some dreams are simply exactly the mind reviewing what has been seen, what has been heard, what has been thought, whatever. But they're what they call dreams of clarity, and those dreams are representing a more real, so that yes, you are encountering this deity, or this dream is something happening in reality that has a very significant importance for your life.
In the West, we have been talking about mind and soul, and in the East, you talk about not body. Yeah, is it just a different way of expressing things, or is there an underlying difference in this?
I don't think so. It is just that I find it so. There are so many words to describe, or to say what it is. I mean, we know when we see a corpse, somebody has died. It's not whatever was there that's not there now. That's not the person, So that's just the body. I'm not, I want to say that
it's not a negation. It could be anything at all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It is what is it that is not the body. That when it's there, there's a person, and when it's not there, there's a body only.
I'll try to do some dreaming tonight and see what happens.